Hi everyone, Jo here again. How you doing? Thanks so much for popping in. As always, lovely to spend time with you, and you've been asking me quite a lot of questions. So today I'm going to answer the question from Claire, but also we're going to create this nice little design here. And the question is, Claire's new to stamping, and she was asking just basically, could I sort of go over the differences between the Elements inks and the VersaFine Clair, and why she needs both. Now, there is a lot of literature, there's a lot of stuff about different ink pads, so I'm just going to give you a nice, almost simplistic, but I think easy to remember. Sometimes we can get almost lost in all the jargon. So just a quick difference. So your VersaFine Clair, for me, it's a pigment ink pad. Now, I always in my head think pigment permanent. And that's easy for me to remember because I've got two P's. We could have a joke there, but we won't. So this is your permanent ink. It gives beautiful detail. So for me, it's perfect for stamping. And I tend, in general, I mean, as you get advanced further, you know, it's a bit like cooking, isn't it? You start off following a recipe, and when you've made it a few times, you add bits, take bits away. So this is your basic starting point, your permanent ink pad. It gives beautiful detail, it's slow drying, and it's perfect for stamping. Comes in lots of colours. When you start off, the black is the one. Get yourself a Nocturne the black, and you can do so much with it, especially with the silhouette stamps. Then we move on to the Elements. Again, come in lots of different colours. Now, generally, these are dye-based, but they move with water. So they're totally different. They're not permanent. They move with water. They're what we call water reactive. So a quick demo just to show you. Now, you'll notice whenever I stamp, I have a pile of copy paper. A, because it's useful, but B, it helps me with my stamping. But that's just me. Going to take one of our stamps, the field grass, and I'm just going to stamp it up in the VersaFine Clair first. And these are just two offcuts of the multifarious card. Now, in between, I'm just going to give it a wipe with a damp cloth and then a dry cloth, just because we're changing the inks up. You'll notice they have different types of pads as well. And again, damp cloth and a clean cloth just to dry it. So there we've got our two. And if I show you the difference, you do have that bit more detail. But the main difference is when you come in with some water, the permanent ink pad won't move. And can you see already you've got a brown tinge where, so that's permanent, look, not moving this. You've got a brown tinge, and I could go in and aggravate it and move that colour, look. And it works even better now. That's a technique in itself, works lovely on watercolour card. But that's the main difference. Permanent reacts with water. So what we can do a nice little design. Oh, better dry this. So again, using my craft mat, fabulous. Takes, you can see, look at mine. I've had this about 3 years, and it does take a lot of ink, etc. So all I'll do is come in with a nice design to show you. I've got the vine branch here. So stamping, permanent ink. Lots of nice light taps. You don't need to press too hard. It's more important to do more, but light taps. And if you're not sure if it's covered, you'll just give it a look in the light. Now I'm going to come on and stamp this here. Always keep one hand, and I'm just going to move the other around. I don't lift it up too quickly. Give that ink time to soak into your card, and then straight up, and that is a lovely noise. So that's the vine branch, look, beautiful. Useful, can stamp it as a tree. I'm coming in with one of our owls, and this is Bijou. Oh, the ink pad's alive. You have to watch that, you know. So again, nice light tapping. Make sure it covers a lot of detail. Tracy puts a lot of detail in a stamp, so, you know, it is worth, don't rush the stamping process. For me, when I started off, it was really my weak point, but I just found ways of almost getting confidence with it. And one is lots of nice light tapping. See, I've missed a bit there in the middle, and I could just see it. It was just a bit dark. It didn't glint. It sort of shines in the light. That's better. I've covered the whole thing. Now, I want to stamp him on the branch, so I'm just going to put my head right above, and I'm just going to hover above, look, and then I think that's okay. I'm happy there. Straight down. Again, if you're going to lift one hand off, keep the other on. In my opinion, don't take both off at the same time. Again, lots of detail. Let that ink soak in. And then now I can lift straight up, and look at that. You get all that beautiful detail. Now, if I was to miss a little bit here, I would take a black fine liner pen and just extend that branch to where his claws were. Slow drying ink. So one thing about having the copier paper is you can always blot it. And the reason I say that is, again, through experience, if I don't blot this, I may just get some on my arm and I'll put it in another place. And believe you me, when you've been crafting a while, you do get used to these little black marks that appear. So that's our permanent, so that will stay no matter what we do now. So now we come in with the elements, the ones that are going to react with water and that are fabulous for blending. So, lovely brush, a number 9, I go for the larger one, and always dab some ink and then blend it in the lid. This is a non-slip mat, so my lid won't move. So what I can do, look, is, in my opinion again, always come in from the edges. You'll find ways that work for yourself, but for me, I would always ink up, blend in the lid. Just going to turn that round, come in from the edge, and this will just blend. Now we can add a moon over here, moon mask. I'll do a whole different video on those for you. So maybe we could do that next week, showing you how to use. There's a lot of them in the pack, but just for this one, we'll pop the moon mask on and I'll explain why I do it upside down next week. Again, it's just a little quirky thing, but for me it works. Ink around. Right, I'm happy with that. Take that off. And again, try and get in the habit, give that a good wipe so it's clean. And every time I blend, look in that lid. Start in the corner. And I'm just going around. Look. Now that's a little bit bright for me. So I'm going to come in and just gently tend to hold on the metal bit, look. Nice and gentle. Go over the moon and we've got a bit of a cloud. There we go. Going to darken my corners. So I'm just going to come straight in, look, and darken those corners. Now, what's lovely about these inks, look, is you can also, number 3 brush, smaller brush. Again, blend in the lid. I can add some quick colour. If I've got a large area to colour, and maybe I haven't got time to use pencils or pens, and I just want to get some basic colour on there, look. So here as well, where we've got this. I'm just going to pinch it a little bit, just to get that colour, just on those bits. And look at that. And that was truffle, so I used blue atoll and truffle. And if I lift that up, look, so you've got that basic colouring. And if you knew, that's a lovely design just to keep having a go at. And I'm just going to do a couple of finishing tricks, just because for me, it's lovely, but we can just colour in pencil, one of the modulars. Now, I like to lean on kitchen roll again, just if I've got any marks on my hand. But I just think if I add a little bit of orange round here, I think it'll finish it off even more. Got a little bit in his eye there where I didn't want it. So let me just get my rubber. You didn't see that, did you? Slip of the pencil. So just a little bit round here. And then if I add some over that brown look, it just gives me a little bit of depth. So if I just go under where a few of the feathers are, and his little claws. Now you will take your time, but look at that. You've given yourself a little bit of 3D. You can also add some bits just on the branches. And because you've got that basic colour down, you can then work and add. Now, this is one of our Signo pens, a metallic marker. And I love these. So I've gone for, I think this is the copper. Oh, bronze. See, I nearly told you a fib then. Sorry, it's the bronze. And we've got this lovely twisted vine. So I'm thinking that's just nice to add a little bit of almost opulence and just highlight that vine. Maybe a little bit on his beak there. And to me, these little finishing tricks make all the difference. This is a Posca pen, and this is a white pen. So I'm just going to go over these little white highlights. And I can always add a few just again on his, if you want to just add a few on the feathers, but also on the black here on silhouettes, a little dot. And again, you'll be surprised how a little dot can just, that highlight makes all the difference. But the main thing about this is, when you asked about the inks, so we've done our permanent stamping, we've done our dye-based, moves with water, we've added colour, but the real trick about the moves with water and reacts with water is that we can add this, what we call faux bleaching in the sky, so this lovely mottled effect. So we can take the colour out using water, which is why we call it faux bleaching. So what we can do, look, is put the moon mask back on, because I don't want any water droplets there. And also, if you think, this is water reactive. So all I've done is taken my kitchen roll, look. I could have stamped him and cut him out on a piece of paper, but I've got to be honest, I just got myself a piece of kitchen roll to cover him up. So it's roughly there. And all I'm going to do is I have a fan brush in a pot of water. Give it a good tap. Now, I stand my fan brush in my water. I leave it all day while I'm creating, which is fine as long as your water doesn't come above the metal bit, because this is wood and it would rot and this will come apart. So just have your water anywhere up to that metal bit. I give it a good tap first to get rid of the bigger droplets of water, but then I can come in, look, and this water will start that faux bleaching process. Now again, a little tip, if you've got any areas where your blending isn't quite so good, and it happens to all of us, I've got one there I'm not keen on, so I'm just going to flick plenty of water on that. And sometimes it can be you might have a bit of dust on your brush or a bit of glitter. In my case, you know, it's amazing when you start glitter, it gets everywhere, doesn't it? So dry that and pop that away, lift this up, and what you can see is that ink reacting to that water. Now, I'm not worried if I got any water, on this VersaFine Clair, because again, that's permanent, it won't move, it'll stay. The outline of that will stay beautiful, but this will all start reacting, look, to the water, and look at this corner. Now, you can leave it to dry, or you can take your kitchen roll, depending on how much ink you want. Now, I'm happy with that, and I've got to be honest, I actually think this corner looks like we've got clouds there, so I'm going to have that, you know, I'm going to say that's my cloudy corner. So I'm hoping that helps, and I'm hoping that this just gives you an idea to the difference between, so again, you've got your permanent, fabulous for stamping, and you've got your dye-based, reacts with water, perfect for colouring, perfect for blending backgrounds, and amazing on the gel press. and maybe we'll have a little chat on the gel press in a couple of weeks. So I really hope that helps, Claire. Please let me know if it helps, and if there's anything else you'd like, just a little bit of a almost like crafter's angle on something. None of this fancy stuff. We just want nice, easy things to remember. Permanent, non-permanent, moves with water, doesn't, and a little project. So if there's anything else I can help you with, that's what we could do on a Tuesday. So I'll go off now and I'll make you a nice brew, get you a nice piece of cake. What cake would you like? And we can have a bit of a chat. So I'll see you again soon. You all take very good care of yourselves. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.